taking a gap year before starting law school, I'm going to share with you the 5 most compelling reasons on why you should indubitably, undoubtedly, and unquestionably take a gap year. If you are new to my channel, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Ndidi Amadi. I talk about all things law school, and I'm here to help you along your law school journey. Also, subscribe to my channel, like, comment, engage. Let's grow, let's thrive, let's do this. Okay, first of all, what is a gap year or gap years? A gap year is typically a time, it doesn't have to just be 1 year, 365 days. So a gap year is a time that you would take from formal education or formal learning. And during a gap year, people can work, they can travel, they can just live life, just be, because we're human beings, or just gain life experiences. So sometimes people take gap years from high school to college, or from college to graduate schools, or between graduate programs. And so what I want to talk about is taking a gap year between graduating from college and going straight into law school. So that would be called KJD, which stands for kindergarten to all the way to JD, which is the name of the degree that you earn when you graduate from law school. So we're talking about gap years from college right before starting law school. The first reason why you should take a gap year is because law school is competitive and you want to put in the absolute best application that you could put out. And one of those things is the LSAT, and you want to give yourself as much time to study for the LSAT. So say you're currently a senior in college right now, you're wanting to apply to law school, you don't want to take any breaks, but you still have your current studies for your bachelor's degree or your whatever degree that you're getting. You still have those studies, and then you're adding LSAT on top of that, and don't let you have an internship or something, or even a life. So it's gonna take away time from putting out that application. But if you take a gap year, let's say you graduate, then you take a year off, you're working, you're also gonna be able to study more for the LSAT because you're not studying for your undergraduate degree. You're gonna have more time for the LSAT, and you're just gonna be able to focus more on that application. My senior year of college, I was burnt out, to be quite honest. I was always an overachiever. I was always looking to do the next best thing. So that meant that my collegiate experience was jam-packed with my academics. I graduated with honors, internships, volunteer, extracurriculars, all these things. So by the time I got to my senior year, I was so tired, but I didn't take a gap year. So this advice that I'm giving you is the wisdom that I learned looking back in retrospect. Like, I should have taken a gap year, and here's all the reasons why. So I remember feeling burnt out and all those things and just frazzled. You don't want to have to go into your law school application process burnt out, frazzled, none of those things. You want to be fresh. You want to put out the best application. So I think that the #1 benefit in taking a gap year is that you will be like a brand new student, just fresh out the gate. You will be an eager beaver. You'll just be ready. Your application will be on point because you've had time to study, you've had time for your essays, you have time for your letters of recommendation, and you have time to really consider if this is the path that you want to take. And studies have shown that the average age of students starting law school is actually increasing. So back in the day, it was like the average age of students starting law school was 22. Now it's
oh my God.
Now it's getting closer to 25. So you can see that people are waiting a little bit longer to go to law school. The second reason why I think taking a gap year is so beneficial is because you can work. You can gain work experience, which will strengthen your legal resume, which is something that you will actually need to submit when you apply to law school. And working just teaches you so many skills that are transferable so that by the time you do get to a graduate program, you already have a resume and you're not at a deficit. Working can also introduce you to some connections, and you can already start to network before you even get to law school. Especially if you get like a legally related job, that'll help you with your knowledge of law school and even just the field and some terms. So for example, say you're a paralegal after you graduate, that'll help you with what lawyers do, how lawyers talk, some of the terms, the words that they use. So by the time you get to law school, you're not completely, acting brand new. Like, I don't even know what that means, because you have gained work experience, you have gained those connections, and perhaps even some of those connections can be your letters of recommendation when you do apply to law school. So that could be something really good for you, just gaining work experience, and you're making money. Like, come on, making money, there's no downside to that. You can save. The third benefit of taking a gap year is it will allow for you time to reconsider your goals. It will allow for you to really think about, is law school the right path for me? Is a legal career the right path for me? Taking time to pause, to breathe, to assess, where am I in my life and what do I want to do? That can only come with having time to think, not just rushing through your goals. Because when you rush through your goals, you're kind of on autopilot. You're not really thinking, is this the right path for me? Is this what I want to do? What will this mean for my life? You don't have time to ask yourself those probing questions. But if you take a gap year or gap years, because you can take several years off of law school, just as long as you don't lose focus or steam or whatever it is that you need to do to complete your goal. But you can take more than 1 year off, no harm, no foul. When you take time off, and this is just general life advice, you have time to breathe and focus on what it is you really want, not necessarily what the outside world is telling you you need to do, or not necessarily on some arbitrary timeline that you don't even know where the end line is. So I would say that that is a huge benefit of taking a gap year, just being able to assess where you are and where you want to. The fourth benefit, and this is huge, is taking a gap year will allow for you to financially prepare for law school. Because I spoke about in a previous video about the true cost of attending law school and all of that. Taking some time off, you can save money, you can budget, you can apply for more scholarships, even private scholarships. You can do so much because you don't want to go into law school broke. Okay, story time. The reason why I'm telling you that you want to take some time off, at least to prepare, or why it's a good idea, you don't have to if you don't choose to, but I went to law school broke. I did not have 2 pennies to rub together. And the reason why is because I was 22, and the reason why is because I didn't have any money because I wasn't working, because when I was a student, I was interning, and interns don't get paid. So I didn't have any money, and I struggled financially, and I didn't have to struggle as hard financially if I had been more prepared. So say I had worked for a year, maybe I wouldn't have been rich, maybe I wouldn't have been a Rockefeller, but maybe I would have had several $1,000s saved up to help me with rent, because you still need a place to live, or to help me with books, which are very, very expensive, or just daily necessities, or even travel, going back to see my family, which became a burden because I didn't have money. And when you're in the first year of law school, you're not able to work. Some schools won't even allow it. So it's like, I don't have money, I'm not able to work. What do? Struggle. You don't have to struggle. You can be financially prepared when you go to law school. And this is to say, I even had scholarships. I got scholarships all 3 years, but because law school is so expensive, it took a lot of money. And I just wasn't as financially prepared because I went straight through as a young 22-year-old kid, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I didn't consider the cost of just going straight through. So that's another benefit of taking a gap year. You can consider the full cost, get your calculator out. You can take time off, you can save money, you can work for the money, and you'll just be financially prepared when you actually do start law school. The fifth benefit of taking a gap year off, especially if you are just coming out of college, say you're 22, is travel. You can travel, you can make these beautiful memories with your friends. You can do things that 22-year-olds do instead of just stuck in a library, which is what you're gonna be doing. And you can just really focus on connecting with your friends and your family, because when you start law school, this is not to say that there's a disconnect, but you won't have as much time as you would have had before you started law school. So taking a gap year is time for you to spend time with your family and friends, travel, experience life, do different things, and even to prep your friends and family that things are gonna transition and change very soon. And so it won't be a shock that they're able to not call you as often when you start law school, but you'll be able to prep them and say, this is gonna change for a little bit, but our relationship is still very important to me. So taking a gap year can help you travel, connect with friends and family, and just be there for the social circles that you have already cultivated. So if you are considering taking a gap year, let me know in the comments what you are considering doing during your gap year and why you are considering taking a gap year. So law school is a huge time investment, mental energy investment, financial investment, and you just want to make sure that you are completely prepared on all cylinders. You want to make sure that you are financially prepared, that you are emotionally prepared, that you are developmentally prepared. You just want to be prepared as a whole. You want to make sure that you are going to the school of your choice, that your application is the strongest that you could muster up. So if you feel any hesitation about pushing through just to meet some arbitrary timeline or goal, or just to make your parents proud, or just to feel like you're moving on in your life, consider taking a gap year. I promise you, law school will always be there. It's been there for over 3 centuries. If you take a year off, your life will not fall apart. If anything, it'll only get better. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I wish you all the best on your law school journey. Until next time, ciao.